Hi, this is Justin Miller, and I'm going to share a little bit about explicit instructional practices um, that were introduced to me to try to make me a more effective and efficient educator. To start, I think we can all think back to our own education, and it really doesn't matter how long we've been out of that student role. I think we can all name a few teachers that were less than adequate, and we can all probably name a few teachers that stood out and were exemplary. Um, Teachers, we have a huge impact on students, and hopefully all teachers entered the profession to make a positive impact on all the students who enter their classroom. I know that I want to, um, even though I may not ever know it. I want to be a teacher that gets remembered as exemplary and somebody who does make a positive impact on the students that I interact with. This is why I constantly strive to get better and learn new things to help my students in any way that I can. And I think that probably the thing that stood out to me the most was those Golden Principles videos. They've provided me with some of the best short and sweet strategies and sayings that I think are going to help me be a more effective teacher. Perhaps one of the most simple and yet powerful sayings is that, all instruction must be interactive. I remember watching the video of Anita Archer, and she said, our instruction can never be I say something, I say something, I say something, I say something, have a nice day, see you tomorrow. We need to interact with our students, and it's got to be a two-way street. It can't just be me up at the front of the classroom presenting to them. They have to be active in that process, and that's why another one of those golden principles is learning is a spectator sport. The key here is, we're not an entertainer. Most students want to be entertained, but we're not there to be at the front of the classroom to make sure that the students are not bored. We can make the lesson fun and entertaining, and that can definitely help with student engagement and active participation, but we need to make sure that we're focused on having students learn and what they're learning. And to achieve this goal, we got to make sure that they are active participants, even when it's not fun, even when it's not entertaining. They have to be part of that process. So using some of those strategies, choral responses, response cards, partner strategies like closed reading and different things, think, pair, share, study, tell, help, check, all of those things can help us make students active participants. And even though we don't have to make it entertaining, we got to make sure, our lessons are perky, not pokey. That one stood out to me as well, too. To me, this one is all about balance. We don't want to go too fast, that, students have time to adequately process the information. We don't want to go too slow, then it's downtime. The thing that really I've come to realize is that, a good lesson should kind of ebb and flow. There are points when we can go faster, and there's other points where we need to slow down a little bit, and it's kind of a back and forth, so allow for that maximum understanding and retention. The don't commit, assume aside. This has been the one golden principle for me that I found to be the most surprising as I'm transitioning from high school to elementary. I'm going to say that so far, from what I've seen, the rest of the teachers in the building are way better at this than I am. They are great at teaching routines to students that I wouldn't have thought that we needed to teach. Lining up correctly, sitting on the rug. How do we get a drink? How do we correctly wear our lanyard? Just some of those very simple things, but you got to teach it. And I never would have thought about it before this. So I've been actively making a list of all the routines that I've seen other teachers teaching at the beginning of the school year. That way I can help support them, both in my actions and my words, as well as I'm going to try to create some social stories that I can use when students are having trouble with one of the particular routines. Walk around, look around, talk around. This is one luxury that I have right now. Since I'm in a support role and I don't have to worry about teaching the content directly, this is the easiest one for me. I'm constantly walking around the school, around different classrooms. I've been averaging about 15,000 steps a day just in the first few days of school. When I'm not moving, I'm actively looking around the classroom just to check on student behavior. And then when it's time to have students practice, then I start walking around, I talk to them, engage them, see if they need help, help them review. Anticipate and remove. This is another big one for me in my support role. And I think this is where I've had some success so far. I've used some social stories to help pre-correct student behaviors during transition times. We've had some kindergartners who don't want to leave the classroom because they're getting comfortable with their classroom teacher, and they're nervous about going to lunch, going to recess, going to special classes like PE, music, computers without that teacher. And so I've started using some social stories right before that transition time to help go over the expectations, both of what we're expecting from them, what can they expect. So it's getting better. Have we had a perfect transition yet? No. But it's getting better, and the more we practice, I think the better it will get. Avoid the void, for they will fill it. I've seen this one a lot, and I think it's been very unintentional by teachers, but definitely there have been some voids. One time it was an IT glitch that turned into a 5-minute detour from the lesson while the teacher tried to fix things. Another time it was a student who was causing a minor disruption, but then the teacher solely focused on that student and ignored the rest without giving them something to do, so there was a lot of downtime. I think, it's possible that maybe I'm noticing it more because I just took the class, or it's because I'm in that support role and I don't have to worry about the instructional content, and so I get to focus more on the students, and so I'm noticing more when they're not engaged or when they have that downtime. And so I think maybe that's, a combination. But whatever it is, the reason I need to find a diplomatic way to bring it up to the other teachers so that they can notice that it's happening too. What you expect equals what you get. It's very easy for me to walk into a classroom right now and see when there's concrete, solid, well-communicated expectations, because the students know exactly what they're doing, what they're expected to do, and it's easy to see the other side of it too, walking into a classroom who doesn't have it. One thing that I have realized, though, that I need to have my own set of expectations, even though I don't have a classroom. I need to be setting forth how is it okay for students to interact with me when I'm in the classroom, so that it doesn't become a distraction. And that's something I do need to work on. And then the teach with passion, manage with compassion. This one's huge for me. That's why I'm here in this new position. While I don't get the opportunity to teach directly as much as I would like, I certainly get the opportunity to practice and display managing with compassion. As the behavior specialist for the whole elementary school, my primary focus is student behaviors that disrupt the classroom. And so I've got a caseload of about 10 students that are high flyers, and I just have to make sure that I'm showing them compassion, finding the balance between being the disciplinarian when I need to, but showing them the compassion that I do genuinely care, and I want to be there to support them and help them get better and improve as a student, as a person, and so I got to find that balance. But I do think that some of the students are starting to understand that I fill both roles of disciplinarian and someone who genuinely cares about them simultaneously based on my patience and my calm demeanor. At least I hope so. This course has had so much packed into it that I haven't had a chance to go through everything. and use it yet, but I plan to in the future, and it's going to be a journey and a learning experience as I find a way to implement these new strategies that I've learned to make me a more efficient and effective teacher. So thank you.